Another episode, another problem. Ick again. I should have listened to Jim and nuked the tank with copper. Gotcha, didn't I? Tank's been actually doing really well. It's been a while since the last episode. A lot of new fish additions, and the ones that survived the ick battle are seemingly doing quite well. I think we're back up to close to 30 fish in there, most of which are smaller than really one large fish. We're actually going to introduce some more fish tonight. These are coffee fish, actually. Inside the coffee cup we've got some Banggai cardinals, a clownfish, and there's even a little yellow goby in there. Wouldn't that make a nice drink? So later we'll introduce those guys into the tank. One of the things that I've been asked quite a bit about is the protein skimmer. You know, I've done some changes to the protein skimmer and felt it might be appropriate to address some of those questions. You might have seen in one of the last episodes a tour of another skimmer manufacturer, and it was predominantly talked about, you know, standard style skimmers. You got a good understanding of how they work. You've seen in the past that we have a cone skimmer in here, and it's worked really well. With a big tank, of course, they can produce a lot of skimmate. Now, in order to deal with the skimmate, you know, most people have to take the cups off their skimmers, dump it out someplace. I've got a little hose here which I open up, and we can drain our skimmate. I'll kind of lean it over there a little bit to get rid of the skimmate. We've done some automation to this. We have under our lid here, we have a wiper that turns on for 15 seconds every day around noon. It spins around in there and cleans the inside of the cup. You can kind of see it there. It's a little bit messy. Keeping a clean skimmer neck helps keep the skimmer efficient and happy. Once your neck gets really plugged up, it actually hurts skimmer performance. So the inside of the neck is constantly clean. You can see the cup itself is a little bit dirty. So in order to deal with the dirty cup, after I drain it, typically what I'll do is I'll close my valve here. I built in this little hose which is glued into the lid. That's kind of my own little idea. I actually kind of stole it from the manufacturer, who has a more upgraded, expensive version, but mine turned out pretty nifty, works pretty well. Built this hose system into it. It's connected to a water line, which you can kind of see here. This water line connects to a spigot line in the closet that the RODI used to be plugged into, and between the line and the spigot is a solenoid that's controlled through my apex. I turn it on manually, and when I turn it on, the washdown will turn on and rinse the inside of the cup. Oh, look at that. So I do need to go in and modify and add a couple more holes. Originally we ran it off of a RODI pressure pump. I found that it really didn't put out the kind of power that I needed. So the solenoid, which I already had, and the valve, which was already there, worked out perfectly. And it gives me the ability to kind of clean down the cup. There's water that sprays on the glass, and it also sprays on the inside of the cone there. Normally what I would end up doing is running about a gallon of water through it so the water level gets up to about that spot there. You know, kind of swish it around a little bit, open the valve and drain it. But you get the idea. It does a pretty darn good job of cleaning the skimmer, which is normally, you know, a manual labor task that, you know, you've got to do. You know, fortunately, you know, frees up my time. Unfortunately, I don't take that time to clean my desk, in case you saw it. So that's a sign of an absent mind or a great mind or something like that. Needless to say, in the 4 months or so that I've had the skimmer up, I added the upgrades to it, self-cleaning head, and the washdown system. I guess it's been about 3 months or so since that addition, 2.5 months, and I haven't cleaned my skimmer once. So now that I've got it filled up, normally it would be more filled up, I simply drain the water into my little collection device down there. It'll drain out all nice, close my valve, and I'll take this and dump that down the toilet. beyond that, the tank has done remarkably well. There's even coral, stuff that had passed away long ago that seems to have resurrected itself. I've got some hammer corals regrowing off of old dead fragments. I've got leather corals that have sprouted up, matter of fact.
Pay close attention here to an inside joke.
That was a mistake. It's kind of like fucking the shit I pull in the storage closet out there.
That's why I turned the camera on this time.
Okay, that's like what happens in the storage closet when you don't pay attention to the salt water going into the saltwater tank or the fresh water going into the saltwater tank, and you space it out for a moment, you end up with water all over the floor. Yeah, I have to figure out an automated solution for that problem. So we're gonna get rid of the nasty stuff. Now I've dumped that out, but can you smell it? Let me tell you, that is some stinky, stinky skimming. One thing I will say is, you know, the theory of the cone skimmers. I never had a cone skimmer up until now. I've had some very good skimmers. I have been very impressed with the skimmer. I mean, they, you know, are claimed to be very efficient. I found it very efficient. It puts out some of the nastiest skimmate I've ever smelled. You wouldn't wish it on your enemy. Needless to say. So, the waste container goes back in there. You can see we only filled it up a little bit, and I only switched it around a little bit, but it really does a brilliant job of cleaning it up. And normally my neck in there is real clean. For purposes of this video, I let it get nasty so I can clean it. I just don't want to waste a lot of time cleaning it. But again, we've got our little wash down ring in there. We've got this little wiper thing here that is essentially, let's get this out, is a squeegee. I've got a hose connected on, it's the electrical cord for that connected, but there's a squeegee there that spins around inside. There's a hose that dangles down into the water. It sucks up some water, and as it's squeegeeing the inside of the skimmer neck, it sprays some water in there, and needless to say, does a remarkable job of keeping things clean for me, because I am kind of lazy and I need to pay more attention. So I mentioned the washdown system being controlled by a solenoid, and I figured I might as well show you what the solenoid looks like. You have these things on most electric sprinkler valves outside. It's a little valve that, based on electricity, since it'll open or close a valve. These valves normally remain closed. I have one mounted in the closet in here. You can see it down here, attached to the faucet, and that's what essentially goes to the skimmer in there, the ring around the skimmer. And based on my controller there, or my computer controller, it allows me to turn it on and off at a whim. And because it's normally closed, if power fails, it doesn't open up. I don't need to worry about water rushing into the tank. So I just figured you might want to know exactly what I was talking about. Some of you may not know what a solenoid is. These things can be had for $15 to $50. Any metal in there is stainless steel, the rest of it is plastic, and they're completely tank safe. So we've been acclimating for, well, probably an hour, adding a little bit of water at a time. These fish were pre-quarantined. I'm going to add a little bit more water, and we're going to add some coffee to the tank now. The cup makes it kind of handy because I can take most of the fish out at once. I'm not going to introduce any water into the tank.
Now the cup was originally put in there as a little sanctuary for the fish while they're in the bucket. Just happened to be they like the cup so much that you can lift the cup out as one and introduce the fish all at the same time.
There goes our flame angel, one of our Fishguys.
That was quick.
I think these guys are probably well enough adjusted, they might even go in there. Although, sometimes it does help to have the fish whisperer, because Jim just scoops them up like, you know, it's no problem. But I'm hands-on, I like to do this. Some of you may be thinking that I work Jim out of a job, but that's not the case.
That's right. Scott has me coming in every other week to clean the algae off the inside of the face of the tank for him. So what do you think over the course of, say, the last 6 months, going from the original fish-only system, now having its entire filter system modified and automated, it's now become quite an attractive, beautiful reef tank, or certainly the beginnings of one that could be even more spectacular. I guess it's another good reason to come on back for more episodes of LA Fishguys. But first, what is he adding today?
So today we added 4 Fishguy cardinals. There's already 2 Fishguys in there. We added a flame angel. to go with the other flame angel that's in there, and a very large prehistoric looking
Yellow clown goby.
Yeah, he's like the prehistoric, Jurassic Tyrannosaurus Rex of the clown gobies. I'm sure he'll be just fine in there. So as far as fish go, we've got a half a dozen Banggai cardinals. We've got 2 diamond gobies. We've got several blue and yellow royal grammas. Actually, the purple and yellow royal grammas. And then we've got the little damsels in there. We've got a 6-line rasp. We've got 4 clownfish that will not touch any of the anemones, and we've got some very, very large anemones in here. They want no part of it. 5 pajama cardinals. They've been in here months now. A couple standard, or 5 blue chromis. What else have we got in there? We've got our little schooner blenny running around here someplace.
Leather coral.
We've got our little baby leather coral. I mentioned that we're getting some new coral growth from old coral. Got a little baby leather coral they're growing. On the other side, we've got some hammers that have sprouted from dead fragments that I never would have figured anything growing from. See, there's 2 sprouts on that rock down there. We've got our flower pot there. That thing is normally about the size of a golf ball, and it's been thriving. Lots of little polyps. Some zinnia up there. Our Jurassic leather coral to go with the Jurassic clownfish or clown goby that's running around, and lots of hermit crabs, snails, and other life in there. And like I said, tank's doing real well, and I'm very happy with the direction of it. So I hope you enjoyed this little update, and I look forward to telling you more in the future.
And thanks for watching LA Fish Guys. And as always, keep moving forward.